Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Dan and Carol.
Good morning. We were having a really interesting conversation the other day about emotions and logic, and something that we've experienced a lot of in our relationship, and something that we, as we've worked with couples, have found that it's a pretty common thing to have a difference in the personality styles of the two different people in relationship. One person is quite often more logical, and the other is quite often more emotional.
Now, how would that be in our case?
Well, I'm the rational, logical one.
Yes. Logically speaking, no, that's not the case.
And you know, in our own lives, and as we've talked to people over the time, it's interesting to note that the tendency, and that we used to be there, is to think, well, if you could just be more emotional, come on, share your feelings. And your response was, you know, if you could just be more rational and logical, just leave the emotions out away. Let's talk about this logically, and, you know, then we'll deal with the emotions later. And I know that really didn't support us, because the underlying message was that my way of doing things was right and yours was wrong, or if it was your perspective, your way of things was doing right and it was right and my way of doing it was wrong. And yet ultimately neither is, because we're both just humans, and we both come with our own temperament, styles, and approaches to things.
So how do you have some ideas or some strategies on how we or our friends can move through that?
Well, one of the big keys for me was just a realization of that's who you are, that's the space you come from, and it's not right or wrong, it is where you are. And that the same for me, an acceptance of both of us and our ways of communicating, and understanding that neither is the perfect way to communicate, it is our way to communicate. So I accepted that we are different. And then I've learned to really appreciate it, because you do things in such a really cool way that I don't go to. You know, so if I'm trying to decide on how to do something, I want your rational thinking way of thinking through things, because my tendency is just to barge in with my emotions and just do stuff.
And from my perspective, I love the emotions and how you are able to show those emotions and show the love and the joy and the happiness and excitement, and it just oozes from you. And that's something that, well, that's what one of the things I was really attracted to you originally, and yet it's funny how when we first were married, that often became something that I resented and didn't like either, until I learned.
And that's not uncommon. And so one of the things that we think is a really powerful strategy is to be able to stop and think about what you really love, or used to love if you're not in a space of loving your partner in this moment. And to really think about, wow, what was I attracted to? Because those things haven't gone away. That person still has those things at their core. Although I think we oftentimes start to look at what we don't like rather than what we do like. So to look at for what we want, what we love about our partner, and to really celebrate that, and to acknowledge our partner for those things, and to focus on what it is we want in our relationship.
And to really appreciate who we are, who you are.
I appreciate you.
So our challenge for you today, if you choose to accept it, of course, is to go out on a little hunting trip. Look for all of those things that you really admire and love and like about your partner, whether that be some of the logical, rational ways, or whether it be some of the more emotional ways, or the spontaneity, the fun-loving part, or the curiousness, the wondering why things work. Whatever it is, notice those things that you really loved before, still love again, and notice that they're still there.
And have fun. Being in relationship is a very fun and rewarding experience, and we just invite you to enjoy the process and really have fun with it.
Have a fabulous day.
Talk to you soon.